Hey folks, Colin here from Something's Recording, and today I'm going to show you one instrument you can add to your next song for an instantly more professional sounding mix. Now, production and mixing go hand in hand. A bad production will always lead to a mediocre sounding mix, but a good production will always elevate a good sounding mix as well. So they go hand in hand, they work together. You can't have one without the other. You need both of them to have a strong track in the end. Today I'm going to show you one instrument you can add when you're building your track that will always result in a more powerful and professional sounding mix. What instrument am I talking about? I am talking about the organ or some kind of pad to put underneath your track. Let me play you this finished track, the finished mix as it stands, and then I'm going to mute out the organ, and I want you to hear how the track changes, balance-wise, frequency-wise, and production-wise. Listen to how the professional sound of the track kind of dips away a little bit when we pull this one simple instrument out. Take a listen here. So when I pull this one simple organ part out, things separate a little bit too much. Our instruments kind of go to their own separate ways. The mix unglues for some reason. Now, why is that? Because this organ part, this small little organ part, helps to fill in the cracks between all of our different instruments, our guitars, our bass, our drum hits, our acoustic guitars, and our piano part. It fills in all those little gaps left by these instruments to glue everything and bring everything together to make one cohesive track rather than a bunch of instruments playing together. Let me solo up this organ part and you can hear how simple of a part it is. You don't have to be that musically inclined to add something like this to your track, and it doesn't even have to be this complicated. It could be one note held down on a pad just to give that little bit of smoothness and that little bit of filling to your song. Take a listen to this organ part. So it has a couple extra notes in it, right? A walk up, a couple walk ups there in between the holds, but it has that static note holding down underneath to go across the entire track and fill in between the piano parts where there's no fills in, or to fill in between the acoustic guitar parts, in between the strums, and fill in between our kick and our snare hits. It's going to glue all of these pieces together to give us a smoother, a cleaner, and a more professional sounding track. Now, it doesn't have to be a noticeable piece. When you hear this track initially, you're not drawn to the organ part. It's not something that you're, hearing right out front that's making a huge impact on this track. It's gluing everything together, but it's not a prominent instrument. You just want something like this for some smoothing in between these cracks or in between the pieces in your track. The way you get that is once you have this part recorded, just sneak it up just till you start to hear it. You don't want it to be a huge presence in the track. You just want to hear it a little bit starting to tickle your ear in the background, and then mute and unmute it. All you want is you want to miss it when it's gone. If you mute it and you can't hear it, it's not making the difference that you want it to make in your track. So we'll do the same thing here. We'll start all the way down at negative infinity, and we'll pull this organ part up slowly but surely until we start to hear it bringing all of our other instruments together and gluing our mix together. And then we'll mute and unmute it, and you can hear how it's not a huge presence in the song, but you miss it when it's gone. Wow, we're rhyming there, but all right, we'll start down at negative infinity, and I'm gonna pull this piece up. So right around -10 here, I'm starting to hear it. It's starting to tickle the edges of the speakers a little bit. But when I muted it, it didn't make the difference that I wanted to make in the track. So we're going to pull it up a little bit further. That's the difference I want to feel. That's the drop in energy and professionalism that I want to hear when the organ part drops out. I mean, you don't want that drop in energy, right? You don't want that in your mix. That's why we're adding this organ part, so you have that professionalism, that filling to make your track really radio ready, really pristine. So one more time, I'm going to start without this time, let it loop through, and then I'm going to click this organ part in, and I want you to hear how this track, feel how this track really fills out and really takes a step to the next level, production and mixing wise. It's such a small part, but it really makes all the difference on your production and on your final mix. I hope that was helpful for you all. I hope it was inspiring and makes you want to try adding some organ or pad parts to your next track. Before you dip out here, I do want to give you a gift for sticking with me here till the end of the video. This is my 7-step mixing checklist. It will guide you through the entire mixing process, step by step, to get you professional, radio-ready mixes without the hassle and without the guesswork. This is a free resource. You can download it using the link in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next video.